Hey there, thanks for tuning in. I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to my new album. It's called The Other End and it's actually my solo debut record. I want to give you insight into the creation process of this product as well as show you a bunch of music. I hope you dig it. We're gonna start off with Nervous Opus, the opening track, which I think might be quite an unusual track to open up a guitar album with. I wrote it with having in mind to piss as many guitar fans off as possible. It has no live instruments, programmed drum beat, programmed nasty sounding synth bass, but still has quite a flowing, more song-like structure to it, and delivers kind of that energy that you would normally expect from a rock band or metal band. Track 2, An End in Itself, finally introduces the band to the album. It's a really nice sounding tune, good chords, good melodies, nice grooving. Just really enjoyable to listen to and play live. I think it was demoed first in 2007, but it really came alive when these guys played in the studio and I could hear the song at the full potential. It was really a pleasing experience. Plush Door, probably the most typically fusion type tune on the album. It's got the fast unison lines, great solos by everyone, tricky rhythms, lots of chord changes, these type of things. And I think it was actually my first attempt of ever writing a fusion piece of music, because it was when I got into college around 2004-2005. I was primarily a rock guy, and I saw all these new guys, all these new influences, all these musicians to hang with, and I just absorbed everything I could and put it into this song. And that leads us to Fresh Ducks, the disco tune of the album. It's named after a band I used to play, the main band during my college years, so I shared a lot of good moments with these guys on and off stage. And this song sort of is the memory and the representation of that. Features your typical 4-to-the-floor disco type of beat, but combined with some keyboard production elements and of course a high-gain shredding guitar. Between You and Me, the jazz tune of the album, it really makes my Pat Metheny influence very obvious, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I just love that guy. Written in a much different way than the rest of the album. You know, the rest of the album was much more pre-produced and written out, charted out, and with this one I just basically wrote it in a jazz reelbook kind of way. I put the chords first, then I invented the melody to go along with those, and finally I just tried to play them all on one instrument, so I put the melody and the harmony together, which created this guitar part. So, I finally put that on the acoustic guitar, and it just felt right to me, and re-recorded the entire song that way. And that's how it ended up on the record. Okay, let's leave all the dynamics and those things aside and just rock out. Forever Eternal, the next song, is just a good old metal tune. Sort of modern metal in the style of groups like Killswitch Engage, but instead of having the vocalist sing the melody lines, we have the screaming lead guitar and the cool quick licks and those things. I also should point out that has a very nice tight drum performance by Ricky Poyato, who played this song just as perfectly as the jazz tunes and the funk tunes. So after this adrenaline-driven ride, I think it's time to change pace again. We end up in Daylight Fading, which is another electronic piece. It combines the drum loop, the synth textures with an acoustic upright bass. And I think it's a really important tune for the album in regards to balance. You know, I like to have all the adrenaline, all the technical parts, but I also want the harmonic sophistication and just parts and melodies that are really enjoyable and rewarding to listen to. And I think the song serves really well with that. Wirrsaal, German title. Another piece of music that might not end up on your typical guitar instrumental record. Actually has a chamber music type approach, and it's composed by my dear friend and great keyboard player Marius Leicht. I saw him perform this piece at his exam concert in college, and I just saw all these colors while he was playing it, and I could imagine so many guitar parts to go along with it, so I invited him to play this together with me and put it on this record. Recorded without a click, so we actually spend a lot of time on the interpretation of this piece in regards to tempo and dynamics. So this one has a much different pulse, and it breathes in a much different way than all the other pieces of the album do. And that leads us to the conclusion, the epic conclusion of the album, Vista Cruiser, written by Tomasz Skulski, great saxophone player and great composer. I'm actually the first guy to record this piece, because originally I wanted to close the album with a vocal cover tune. Never got around to do it because of various legal reasons, so I ended up digging out pieces that I could play, and this one struck me as being extra awesome. We used to play it in a band that we had together, Tomasz, and rearranged it a little, had Federico play a really great bass solo, and just the whole vibe, the whole climax towards the end, it just builds and builds and builds and gets darker, and it really closes the album in a way that just felt right to me. Really happy with this recording. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. So that was our little preview tour of my album. I hope you enjoyed it, I really do, because it means the world to me if you do. You know, I was involved in this album at every step, at every process, from the writing of the first song to the mastering of the last CD artwork, this very video. I was involved in every step of the creation. So it's a completely personal thing for me. So if you go check it out and hopefully enjoy it, that means the world to me. So if you do, drop me a message, and see you soon. Take care, bye bye.